channel. In this week's video we're going to be turning this. There are two things you can take from this video. Firstly, how to respray a loco, but secondly, and perhaps more importantly on this occasion, having a loco in a livery that it did not carry in real life. And what's wrong with that? Nothing at all. We're into a fantasy world now, but doesn't this look absolutely gorgeous? Stick around and I'll show you how it's done. As always with any repaint, it's important to record everything that's on the vehicle as it is right now, whether that vehicle be a train, bus, truck, car, tank, whatever it is. We need to have a record of all of this stuff so that when we get into the finishing stages for our project, we can remember where that detail actually needs to go. Once the detail has been recorded, the next stage is to remove any of the glazing, and there's more of it than you might think on this loco. That's actually fairly straightforward to deal with. You can see it there. A few cellophane tabs, we'll soon get those off with the aid of a scalpel. The cab glazing might be a little bit more involved because it's thicker for a start. It's not going to come away readily. You can see that. And we need to think how we're going to do it. First thing I am going to do though is just prise it with a scalpel and see what happens. If it breaks, say la vie. I've got a plan B in my pocket. Now when it came to removing the cab glazing, I actually did it like this, and one end is out, it's there, you can see it, and it's complete. These are the pieces of the side glazing. Then really not that significant. I mean, they can be replaced quite easily. But this is how I got the cab out, the cab glazing out. And please, again, you know, if you're a younger modeler, get somebody older to help you with this stage. I recently saw on eBay some Hymek body shells that had the cab area missing altogether. So scalpel went in, see it there just under the roof. That's what it did underneath. And as I sliced through there, I was able to remove that glazing. But I can't stress enough, please, if you're a younger modeler, get somebody older to help you. Well, you'll be pleased to learn that the next stage is a lot safer. You can see the shine on this model, as old as it is, but we need to remove it. And for that, I favour the Scotch cloth. We give this thing a really thorough rub down now with the Scotch cloth, and that will do two things. Firstly, it will remove any inbuilt dirt and grime from the surface of the model. Remember, it is many, many years old. And also, and more importantly, it will give a really good key for our primer. Well, as you can see, I wasn't shy with the Scotch cloth, and nor should I have been. After all, this isn't something I want to repeat twice, as much fun as it is. This is how the model looks now, and it needs, of course, a good wash. I did learn something. The two glazing areas for the cab ends fell away during the process. That's worth remembering for any future projects. Outside here in Cornwall, and these washed parts of my Hymek loco really won't take long to dry before we can get on with some primer. So on this occasion I've gone with a plastic primer. This is the product I've used, and it's looking quite good. Might open up a whole new market here, wedding trains, something like that. Just a theory. But from here, of course, you can go anywhere. You can go back to the blue and yellow of British Rail, or you can go to the green of the earlier livery. But we're going to do something a little bit different. Well, after all that preparation, you're ready to start involving some colour. And this is the fun part, and you can't wait to get started. We've got our colours and our thinners, everything all ready to go. But still, you must hold back and ask yourselves a couple of questions. Am I spraying in one colour only? Very unlikely. If I'm using more than one colour, what's my lightest colour? What's my darkest colour? Remember that adding a light colour on top of a dark colour will affect the final appearance. Also, you need to think about areas where you're not going to necessarily use your top coat, such as this area here on our Hymek. We're not going to be painting this in the final colour. It really needs to be black. Do we mask it off, or do we use a product like drawing gum? And if you're not familiar with that, there's a link to it on the screen now. There are all sorts of things you need to ask yourself before you get carried away and go in with your final colour. But we've made our decisions and away we go. Let's dilute some paint, get it in the airbrush and give it a go. So as you can see, a number of different paints used. I've employed 3 different painting techniques: the paintbrush, the airbrush and the rattle can. And I have to say, I haven't filmed myself painting any of this. To be honest, I find it a bit like unboxing videos. Plenty of videos out there that will teach you how to use the airbrush if you're not sure, and they're all done better than I could do it. So we're just going to concentrate on the concept and the stages of preparation. Still more to do, of course. We've got to reattach the glazing and add the decals in the appropriate places. But am I pleased with this? You bet your life I am. Everyone will want one of these, won't they? I mean, it just looks absolutely gorgeous. And I hope you've learned something about not just respraying a Loco body, but thinking about how it can be done and what you can achieve. I haven't focused. By the time this is repositioned on its chassis with its new motor and a few more details as well, I've got some cab detail coming and some lighting. It's going to look absolutely stunning. So just before we leave you, let's have a look at the paints that we used on the project. You've seen the primer earlier on. The maroon rail match BR maroon. Yellow ends were courtesy of the Tamiya yellow. There you see the code. And the black wash on the vent and other areas such as the grills, all those little bits of detail. That's just a diluted Tamiya paint actually. I don't buy the washes, waste of money. When you've got a little bit of paint left, add a bit of thinners of the appropriate type and you've got a wash. And of course the silver there, Tamiya X11, that's for things like the horns and the cab railing. There's more than you could do. You could buy detail kits for these things and go that option, but not for me, not on this occasion. Lastly, the whole thing was given a coat of clear coat and a Rust-Oleum crystal clear. This is the one I used just to give it a little bit of a shine, not too much, possibly less of a shine than appears on the film there, but it makes it look good and it protects what I've done so far. Only the decals to add and away we go. Brilliant. If you have, please remember to give this video a thumbs up. If you didn't like it, give it a thumbs down, but at least please tell me why in the comments. If you're not already a subscriber to my channel, I would urge you to do so. Remember, subscription is free on YouTube. Simply means that you've chosen to follow a channel. Nothing more. Doesn't cost a penny, and you might learn something and have some fun along the way. That's it. Take care. We'll see you next time at St. Blazing Model World. Bye for now.